What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the exact daily schedule I use in my SMA to get me up to 40 grand a month. And this schedule was the one I was also using when I got up to 10 grand a month while working a part-time job. So if you're going to take this and still not grow your agency, I really don't know what to do for you. So this should shortcut the time it takes you to figure out what to do and when to do these things. I'm going to give you a complete full guide on how to make your own schedule and make the most out of your time in this video as well at the end. So the first thing you want to think about when you're creating your schedule or designing your life in a way to grow your agency is, how can I actually improve the skills that's actually going to make me get to the outcome? Because all the agency comes down to is skills, and it's the accumulation of those skills is what's actually going to make us the money. So it's absolutely imperative that you know these things before going to the agency game, or you're just going to go walking around mindlessly and wasting years of your time trying to get to 5-10 grand a month, and you won't even hit it. So it's absolutely necessary for you to pay attention to this. So there's three parts of the agency you need to focus on and design your schedule off of these, because as soon as you know these three things, you're going to design it in a perfect way so that you can actually work on the things that are absolutely relevant for you and your agency. The first thing is just going to be traffic in the business. Without traffic, your business is dying. So you need the traffic in, conversions from that traffic to convert those into paying customers. Then at the end, you need a retention mechanism. You need a service delivery mechanism and deliver them fantastic results. So examples of traffic: doing the damn outreach, testing the scripts, creating the scripts, automating as much as possible. I just jotted down a few examples. Conversions, adding reminders to the sales call, follow up, building new VSLs, feedback from sales calls, iterating, learning objection handles. And these are just a few examples, but if your time is spent out of these three realms in your life right now, and your agency is your number one priority, absolutely, then what are you doing, right? If your only goal right now is like, hey, go to the gym in the mornings and make money, and do this for an extended period amount of time, then you might as well spend all your time doing this if it's your primary goal, right? If you choose to build an agency, you're going to be working 8 to 12-hour days, and that's not sexy at all. But it's the way it has to go if you're a business owner. That's why so many people fail with an agency. That's just how it goes. This is how I balance building skills. There's two factors in building skills, in my opinion, that I've observed. It's 80% execution and 20% learning. Right? You might be thinking, why isn't it more learning? Don't you need to learn things? It's completely true. At the same time, you're going to learn more from doing 4,000 cold calls than simply just reading a cold calling book. The cold calling book will not teach you how to handle those uncomfortable situations until you're actually there. In psychology, they call this exposure therapy, where you progressively overload the exposure to X thing you're afraid of until you get good at it. This is the same thing with skills. You progressively overload the amount of cold calls you do every single day. Eventually, you can crank out hundreds at a time, and every single cold call you take, you are skilled at it. You know how to deliver this message. You know how to say something to this person. That's just an example. So this is the exact graph I use for everything. Goals, you have problems from those goals. So you execute on things. You get problems. You solve those problems. You get the feedback. Then diagnosis. Then you design it better, and then you execute again. Right? This is exactly how I look at everything when I do my agency. So this is probably the fastest way possible that you can learn skills, and it's exactly what I do. I'd execute as much as possible. I'd split your time into these three categories and go from there, and you should be set pretty damn well. Next thing I'm going to show you, this is my schedule about a year ago. I'm going to then, after this, show you my schedule now, and I want to make a crucial distinction here between then and now. There's a difference between working in your business and on the business. When you're at around 40 grand a month, where I'm at, you're working on the business instead of in the business. You're still kind of in the business. You might have to talk to employees. You might have to execute on some tasks. That's just how business goes. At the same time, a majority of your time is going to spend on the business instead of in it. In it is doing the cold calls. It's actually doing the manual work that can be automated. It can be outsourced with labor. And this is the schedule when I was inside of the business, which if you're watching this video, you're below 10, 15, 20 grand a month. You probably are still in the business, so it's extremely relevant to you. I would wake up at 6:30. I've always been an early riser. You can see now I wake up around 5, but this is back then. I'd eat, I'd take some supplements, I'd meditate, I would drink pre-workout, I'd go to the gym, right? Quickly cover meditation in a morning routine. You can see that this morning routine takes me about 25-30 minutes. And I believe a lot of gurus online, especially SMA gurus, to be exact, over-exaggerate the importance of a morning routine in red light sauna, cold showers, and all these things. And cold shower, for me, is just a great way to wake up. Meditation is just a great way for me to focus better. Meditation is probably not getting me to manifest my dream life. It's just me focusing better while I'm working because my attention span, naturally, my whole life has been kind of skewed. And there's no manifestation here. It's just you have to execute on the damn business. That's all that matters. You need to grow the skills that come along with growing that business. And again, it's the input outputs. You do the inputs, you get the skills out of it. The skills are going to actually make you able to scale a business. You need to build the character of being a person that's able to scale a business and not just doing it because of luck. By building the skills, you have the character, you have the personality for you to move on to another business and scale that business as well, like I've done with countless other agency owners, right? So that's why I have those skills. I'm able to help people out. Next thing I would do, gym, cardio, straightforward things. I've always lifted weights in the morning. I get that over with so that the rest of my day is basically just all work. Next thing is reviewing a habit tracker. So I'm going to show you in a moment. I just have a checklist. That's all I do for organization. As my company grows, I have to manage people's tasks. I have to see what's designated. I have to see due dates. For myself, I don't have much. It's a checklist. That's all I do. I plan out what I need to do after the gym. And then I know today I have to do this amount of deep work. I have to execute on this. I have to get this VSL done. I just complete those things, right? So super simple. I don't have to overcomplicate this. 10:30 to 12:30, I cold call. This was when I was in the business, like I said, and I was brute forcing everything. 200 cold calls, 300 cold calls for many, many days at a time. I was doing 300 cold calls, which takes me around 2 to 2.5 hours with a power dialer, with me dialing really fast, getting through as many leads as possible in the CRM. That's how it went, right? So 2 hours of cold calling. Sometimes that would be about 2.5 hours, depending on if I was slow that day or I was getting a lot of people. So I'd aim for 250 probably ish every single day. Next would be taking sales calls. And I would take sales calls about 12:30 to about 2:30-ish, 2:30 to 3, depending on when they were booked. And then at 3, when I was at $5,000 a month, I was still working the part-time job. And I would go to work at 3. So I would either, the days I worked, just take about 3 sales calls and go to work. The days about half of the time when I did not work, I was taking all day of sales calls. That's why you see on the calendar here it says work or no work. So depending on if I worked or not, I take more or I take less. So at 6 p.m. when I didn't work, I would review sales calls. And this is, again, the feedback. Let's go back to my other guide right here, where we're getting the feedback, right? We're designing something else. We're getting the objection handles. We're getting the tonality issues. We're getting the realization I'm getting burnt out after a certain period of time. Just straightforward things. You need feedback to actually get better at the skill, as I mentioned earlier. So I'd review the sales calls and the cold calls, and I look at service delivery for clients. So how can I make these ads better? What can I do for the onboarding process? What can I do tomorrow to make these clients happier? Is there any check-ins I can do? And this would be from around 6 p.m. to about 9 p.m. That's what I do for a few hours. And then if that was all done, I would probably read a bit earlier, right? So I would do some habit tracking again. I'd get my plan for the next week, next 2 weeks as well. I think kind of long-term if I could. And then I'd start reading. I love reading. It's one of those things where a lot of the time reading doesn't make me money. I'll read a biography. I'll read some philosophy. It doesn't directly make me money, but it's just one of my guilty pleasures, you can say, that I do personally, where I enjoy it. So that's what I do at night, and I kind of wind down that way by not going on the screen, because we all know that whatever blue light makes your sleep worse. So I usually just read a book and go to bed. So that's the schedule I used. Notice how we had the execution, which is cold calling and sales calls. That's going to be the needle movers when you're beginning in business. That should be really all that matters when you're growing a business, is getting traffic in the door and converting them, and then delivering an amazing service, which I have 3 hours blocked off at night for. This covers all our basis when it comes to traffic, conversion, and retention. Retention, service delivery, conversion, sales, traffic is actually the cold calls. So now we're going to have some fun. This is my schedule now. Let's actually simplify this. This is 4 days. Notice how boring it is. And honestly, obviously, if I'm going to prefer something, it's going to be this schedule over the other one. And this is the difference between working in the business and on the business, right? You're above ground. You're not inside the ground searching on what the hell to do. You're above it. You're looking down on it. You're managing. You're telling them the direction of things to do. And since you've already done these things, you can effectively guide them and train them with SOPs. That's my job now. So I'll either have client onboardings right here in the afternoons. I'll still wake up quite early. I wake up at 5 now. So I'll do my kind of routine that I had before. I do a similar thing. I don't even meditate that much anymore. It's just kind of 5-10 minutes if I have time during the day. And then I do my cardio. I have a daily meeting for my team. Then I have foundations module I'm making for my community right now. That is extensive. You can see most of my day right now is designated to that. So that's one of the most important things for me. You can join that community in the description, by the way. It's completely free. Then as well, I just do more client work. I do more onboardings right here. And then I have 2 hours again at night blocked off. So if you can see here, I'm working from about 9 to about 7. So that's about 10 hours of work depending on the day. That's my day right now. And I've designed this purposefully. And this is a day I love. I still get my reading in. I still have a guitar back there. I can play guitar at night. I get 10 hours of work, of deep work. I still get a lift. It's exactly how I work now. And this, again, if you're watching this video, I thought I'd show it just in case you're curious what it looks like as a person who's working on the business. If you're working in the business, the other one is going to be much more in tune with what you're doing. It's going to be working in the business, actually doing the tasks that you need to do and taking the sales calls you need to do. But eventually you want to progress into what we call a maker schedule. If you're a creative person, you have the direction of the company and you know where you want to go. These schedules where it's open, this is how it's going to go. There's a maker manager schedule. If you're a manager and you're meeting with the team all day, ops managers, etc., that's what those people do. There's a difference in the type of work these people do. I am a maker. I make things. I love creative work. Again, like I said, managers are going to manage the team. They're the sales people. It's a sales manager where they'll check on the sales reps. They take calls with other members of the team, see how the rates are going, see how the metrics are. That's what that type of work calls for. For me, I don't do that. That is not my job. That's not what I'm good at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have some inspiration now to get a schedule for your own. What I would recommend not to do is don't blatantly copy the schedule. Everybody has their own routine. Everybody has their own way they go about life in their day. Don't wake up early if you don't want to wake up early, as in you feel absolutely horrible every morning. You wake up at 8 a.m. That's fine. As long as you do the same amount of work as me, you're my competition. Like, that is completely fine. I just prefer to wake up early because I am the brightest and the sharpest in the mornings. As you can see right now, it is the afternoon, and then mostly I've done all my deep work. I'm just recording this right now to get something else out to you guys, and hopefully you enjoy it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I upload about 3 of these a week now, so if you want to subscribe and like, that'd be amazing. Join my free community if you want a lot of value for your agency and how to grow it. I put this document in there as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.